Brilliant. Welcome, guys. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend, ready for a great trading week ahead. Today is August 31st, end of summer as we know it. In the UK, it will start with rain and cold tomorrow, I'm sure. So just to say, for those that might not have joined us before, my name's Becky. My email address is becky@tradewithufos. So you can email me on that if you have any questions about what we covered today. The support team are usually better to get responses quicker, just because they're a team, more of them. So support@tradewithufos, also a good email address to know. Now, we're all traders on the team, so all happy to help with whatever questions you have, no problem. So for those, again, that might not have joined us before, I'm just going to explain what the pre-market overview is, what it is that we do. So basically, every day we send a newsletter out. That newsletter covers 4 of the major markets in the world. We talk about where we think the markets are going, how long we think they're going to go in that direction for. We talk about where we think markets will turn, volatility, and news as well, high impact news to be aware of. So we go through a lot in the newsletter, but we do the pre-market overview for 15-20 minutes every day to just explain a little bit more depth, a little bit more context around the technology that we use, why we use it, and how we came to those conclusions. So again, it's just to expand on those concepts for people that might want a little bit more understanding. Now, again, it's only 15-20 minute video, so I can't go into the entire methodology and everything that's behind the technology. If you have any further questions on it, you can, of course, email us. Now, you can email newsletter@tradewithufos if you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter, so you get that document for yourself every day, Monday to Friday. That's the email address. If you email us on that, we'll put you on that subscription list. Now, for those that are joining us from within the Tradictive channel, just a reminder, today's Monday, so you have futures at 9 a.m. and then options at 1 p.m. Again, just to let you know that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have stocks and investing, and we have sharpening sessions over the weekend. One of them is a psychology session, and one of them is a reinforcement of methodology and concepts, more sort of theory-based. In terms of upcoming classes, I actually need to update this because the trading plan class has been and gone. That was this weekend. So the next class that we have is backtesting. So backtesting is September 19th to the 20th. We then have futures after that, then stocks and psychology. Now, again, I just realized I need to update the newsletter separately for that as well. So it's going to, on the newsletter, we're going to show you that the information for futures, but it should be backtesting, but that's fine. I'll change it for tomorrow. Okay, so I need to put up the disclaimer for you guys to read. Obviously, it's a long disclaimer, so I'm not going to read it to you. You can, of course, read it for yourself. You can mute me if you'd like to read it as we go whilst it's on the screen there. Or, of course, you can come back to the video, pause it and watch it later. Or you can go to the website, www.youcantrade.com, to get additional disclosure information there. It is important that you guys read it. In a nutshell, we're basically saying that, of course, there is a risk involved in trading, and it's your responsibility when you trade as to how much you risk and whether or not you risk any money. That's always your choice. What we show you here are demonstrations and educational ideas. It's not meant to be trading advice or trading tips. It's meant to be educational and demonstrational. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go to the newsletter. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what we send out every day. I'm going to zoom in a little bit there just so we can see it a bit better. So we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. We have the S&P, which is one of the major equity indexes or indices in the world. We have oil and gold, both major commodities, and then we have the euro. The euro, when looked at as the euro-US dollar, is the highest traded currency pair in the world, and spot forex is the highest traded asset class in the world. So lots of volume goes through just that last market, let alone the other ones that we look at as well. So even if you don't trade these markets directly, I'm sure a lot of what you trade will be at least correlated to these markets. We also, for each of the markets, you'll notice we use a daily chart, a daily time frame to get this information. Of course, different things happen on different time frames. So if you trade really small time frames or much bigger time frames, there will be differences, of course. But the daily does seem to fall within what most people look at, whether you're a short-term trader or long-term investor. The daily chart is often used by a lot of people, so hence why that's the one that we use. Now, for each of these markets, we're going to look at climate, which basically means what trend are we in? What's the market direction? What's the market environment? But more importantly, what are the probabilities associated with that? Then we have propagating. Propagating tells us, on the right-hand side, how long does that market usually go in that direction for? Based on statistics, based on the probabilities. How long does it normally go, either up or down for, depending on the environment that we're in? And on the left-hand side, where are we at now relative to that? So basically, these numbers give us an idea as to whether we can expect that movement to continue to happen based on statistical probabilities, or whether we're likely to see a change in direction, a change in climate. What we also want to look at is nearest UFOs. So UFO stands for unfilled orders. It means where we expect there to be buy orders that can push a market up, or sell orders that can push a market down, and we want to find them on a chart. So we use our Auto UFO app in order to find those on a chart for us and tell us where those stacks of orders are likely to be that could turn price. We use the Auto Climate app to get the information on climate and propagating. So we're using technology to analyze the markets for us and give us this information based on probabilities and statistical advantage. Everything we do in Tradictive is about putting as many odds in our favor as possible. Just because something is probable, though, does not mean it's guaranteed. So, of course, we also need to manage our risk, but we do want to make sure that we have statistics on our side as much as we can. Now, for each market as well, I'm going to come down and look at volatility. So volatility just means how far we can expect these markets to move. So how fast we can expect them to move. We look at current implied volatility. That's where we get these figures from. Now, each of these, you'll notice, are a percentage. So what these refer to are the expected movement up or down in 1 year as a percentage of that market's value right now. So, a movement up or down of 24.25% within 1 year. So from that, we can then work out what that means in terms of a movement up or down in a day, up or down in a week, or up or down in a month. So we'll look at each of those per market as well. So you get an idea of the type of movement or the length of movement that we expect within these given periods of time. It comes from the current implied volatility number. Okay, so we're going to do all of this and then we'll come down and look at news. So lots to do. We're going to start with the S&P and dive straight in. So we look at $SPX.X. That is the symbol on TradeStation for the index here. Okay, so I'm just going to move this so we see what we need to see. At the bottom here, we have our Auto Climate app. So the Auto Climate app analyzes the market data for us and lets us know basically what trend we're in. And again, more importantly, what the probabilities are associated with that trend or with that market environment. So here we see a thick blue dot. The Auto Climate app can show us 3 different things. So it can either be a thick blue dot, like what we see here. That tells us we have a confirmed upwards climate, meaning that we have a movement to the upside, probabilities to the upside, and the fact that it's thick tells us that we have statistical advantage there to the upside. So probabilities moving upwards. Now, again, that's relatively easy to see in this example. The markets are going up. We see that. But in some market environments, it can be harder for our eye to interpret it. So the Auto Climate comes in really handy for things like that. It can show us a thick red dot, which would tell us that we're in a confirmed downwards climate, that the movement is to the downside, the market direction is to the downside, and that we have probabilities to the downside, statistical advantage to the downside. Or it can show us a thin dot of either color. The color will still tell us the direction, but the fact that the dot is thin, that's Auto Climate app way of telling us that, yes, it might be going up or going down, but there's no probabilities here. You lack statistical advantage. So on days like that is when we will often choose not to do anything on those markets. So in this example, thick blue dot, confirmed upwards climate, probability there to the upside. Closest stack of buy orders, as picked out here by our green UFO, our buy UFO, is 3485.14 to 3468.35. So that is the closest stack of buy orders as shown to us there by our Auto UFOs. Just close that. So on the newsletter, we show you that we have a confirmed upwards climate by showing you a confirmed move to the upside with a green arrow pointing upwards. The propagating figures are here. So what this tells us is that normally the S&P would go up for 11 candles on a daily chart. Now I'm just rounding up that number. Whatever the decimal place is, by the way, I'm going to round up that second number. So normally the S&P goes up for 11 candles, and we are currently on candle number 22 to the upside. So what that means is obviously we are overextended. We have gone twice as much in the upwards direction as what normally happens. So lacking probability, lacking statistical advantage for every day we go past that. The longer something becomes in a direction past what is normal, past what is probable, the less likely it is to keep doing that. So it's kind of like an elastic band. The more you pull it, the more likely it is to contract on itself, the less likely it is to allow you to keep pulling it. So it's the same concept here with our markets. So we have to bear this in mind that we have a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities to the upside. We have buy UFOs beneath us and actually no sell UFOs above us. we're at all-time highs, so there aren't any sell orders above us for us to find. So those are all signals to the upside. Buy orders below us, confirmed upwards climate. However, when it comes to propagating, we lack probability that the climate will continue. That's not to say it won't happen, it's just to say it's less likely that it will. When it comes to volatility for the S&P, we use VIX.X, commonly known as the VIX, and we see from that we would expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 24.25%, which means in a day, we would expect a movement up or down of 53.59 points. In a week, a movement up or down of 117.97 points, or in a month, a movement up or down of 245.57 points. Again, just tells us the expected movement up or down within these given periods of time. So that's the S&P. Let's move on to the next market. We're looking at oil now at CL. That's the continuous futures contract for oil. So I just need to squidge this one a little bit because we've got our UFOs quite a way away here. There we go. Hopefully you can see that okay. So once again, we have a thick blue dot on our Auto Climate app at the bottom there, telling us we have probabilities to the upside, confirmed upwards climate. We have our closest stack of buy orders all the way down here at 26.31 to 25.80. Closest stack of sell orders up here, that's our red UFO showing us those, at 53.85 to 55.71. And as we can see, we're kind of in the middle here, not really close to either stack of orders, which means that we could drop very quickly. We could go up very quickly. We have nothing really to stop us either way. Kind of lacks direction there because we're not really close to either buy or sell orders that can move us up or down. Now, the only thing we do have in terms of signal to one side is our climate. So our climate is a confirmed upwards climate, probabilities to the upside. Now, normally oil would go up for 7 candles, once again, rounding up that number, 7 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 5. So we do have probabilities that the climate is likely to continue to the upside, at least for another couple of days. Again, that's not to say that's guaranteed. It's just to say it's more probable that that will happen because usually the market will go up for 7 candles. And of course, we've still got a couple of days left until we hit that number. So again, nothing in terms of UFOs to give us direction here, but we do have our climate showing us movement there to the upside or pressure there to the upside. So when it comes to volatility, we look at OVX.X and we see that we would expect a movement up or down in a year of 32.06%, which means in a day, 0.88 points up or down. In a week, 1.93 points up or down. And in a month, 4.02 points up or down. Okay, so that's oil. Now we're going to look at gold. That's the next market. So at GC, that's the continuous futures contract once again there for gold at GC. Okay, once again, just going to move it a little bit here just in case my face is in the way of the numbers there. So in this example, we have our Auto Climate at the bottom here showing us a thin red dot. So the fact that it's red is telling us that we have a movement to the downside. We have a direction or trend to the downside. But the fact that the dot is thin, that's telling us that we lack probabilities. We lack statistical advantage. So again, most of the time we choose to do nothing on days where we don't have statistical advantage. And when it comes to orders, our closest stack of buy orders is here. That's our green UFO, 1836.7 to 1825.9. Closest stack of sell orders is up here with our red UFO, 2039.7 to 2060.8. And as we can see, we're kind of here-ish, closer to the stack of sell orders, but not that close. So again, with gold, we had an unconfirmed climate. We show that here by showing you a red arrow to the downside with a little cross next to it. The little cross is telling you that it's unconfirmed. You'll notice with these climates, they were confirmed, no cross next to them. That's how we show you the difference on the newsletter. So unconfirmed climate, little cross next to the arrow. Now, normally gold would go down for 3 candles on a daily chart. We're on candle number 7, which it means, again, we are more than twice overextended as to what normally happens in terms of movement to the downside for gold. So again, we're lacking probabilities with our climate. We don't have confirmed probabilities there, and we're overextended there to the downside. So again, lack probabilities of a continuous move to the downside. And in terms of UFOs, we're not that close necessarily to either one that could move price. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't really see much happen with gold today, or if we start to see a change of direction, a change of climate in the next day or so. So when it comes to volatility in terms of the movement we can expect, we use GVZ or GVZ.X. We can see from that we expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 23.19%, meaning in a day, movement up or down of 28.9 points, in a week, up or down of 36.5 points, and in a month, up or down of 132.2 points. So that's gold. Let's move on to the last market, which is the euro versus the US dollar. That's the spot Forex currency pair for it. Euro US dollar, I think I need to load. Yeah, I do. I just need to load a couple more candles here so we can see our sell UFOs. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to move this to the side here so that we can see everything properly and scrunch it a bit. So once again, we have a thick blue dot. So confirmed upwards climate with probabilities to the upside. Closest stack of buy orders is this one just here, 1.1835 to 1.1762. I've just rounded that where they need to go. And we have our closest stack of sell orders here at 1.2344 to 1.2414. Again, just rounded those where they need to be. So we can see here that we have a whole bunch of buy orders on top of each other. So buy order after buy order after buy order after buy order. Many, many stacks of buy orders on top of each other. And they've done what we expect them to do, some of them. So we see here, we had a buy UFO. Price touched the buy UFO, it went up. We had another buy UFO form. Price touched the buy UFO, it went up. We had a buy UFO here. Price came down, touched the buy UFO, went up. Came down, touched the buy UFO, went up. That's what we expect buy UFOs to do, is push price upwards because they're buy orders, big stacks of buy orders that are likely to push price up. So we see that working here with our buy UFOs, doing exactly what we expect, pushing price upwards. So again, the closest stack of buy orders is just below us at the moment. So when it comes to the euro US dollar, we have a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities to the upside. We also have probability of a continuous move to the upside, because normally the market would go up for 5 candles in a row, and we're on candle number 1. So we've just started what is a normal move of 5 candles to the upside. So again, probabilities that it does continue to the upside. We have a closer stack of buy orders beneath us and sell orders a little way off. So at the moment, everything that we see here from the technology and the statistics that we have is that we have more probabilities there to the upside with the euro US dollar. Again, not guaranteed, manage our risk. But again, statistically speaking, we have more probabilities there to the long side with the euro US dollar today. In terms of volatility, we look at EVZ.X or EVZ.X, and we see that we would expect a movement up or down in a year of 8.07%, which means up or down in a day of 61 pips, up or down in a week of 134 pips, and up or down in a month of 278 pips. My mouse went a bit funny there, but you can see what I mean. So again, the volatility numbers give us an idea of how far we expect these prices to move within given periods of time, up or down. When it comes to climate and propagating, we get an idea of in which direction we're likely to see that move happen. When it comes to nearest UFOs and propagating as well, actually, is where we're likely to see that move to either the up or downside stop and turn around and go in the opposite direction based on buy orders and sell orders. Now, of course, we're looking at here buy orders and sell orders, which is the most direct force you can possibly have in the market to move it. What moves price up or down is buying and selling, buy orders and sell orders. That's all we have to move price. But of course, there can be many reasons as to why there are buy orders and sell orders. So we also need to be aware of indirect forces that could create volatility or movement in the markets. So this is why we come down and we look at upcoming news as well. So what we do is we go to fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We filter by high impact news and by US markets. So of course, if you trade outside of those parameters, outside of the US, or you want to look at lower impact news, you can go to that link and you can play about with the filters there and see what you want to see. Now, this week we see that we have nothing coming out today. The next high impact news that we have will come out tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. So everything on the left-hand side here with timings is based on Eastern Standard Time. So like I said, nothing today to be aware of. It'll only be tomorrow, so we'll reflect on that tomorrow. When information does come out, it will normally populate in this actual column. So you'll see data in here. So we'll show you as the week progresses what that looks like. Okay, so that's everything in terms of our direct orders and indirect, direct forces and indirect forces today. Just a reminder, like I said, the next class is actually the back testing class. That's my bad. I put in futures today, but it should be back testing. But you can go to tradictive.com/. Futures Live if you want to learn more about the futures course, or you can go to tradictive.com/backtesting live if you want to learn more about how to do your backtesting. Now, you can register for any course at the moment and choose an additional course for free. So let's say, for example, you think, I want to understand futures and backtesting, or you can do both and it's buy one, get one free. Or I want to learn about trading plans and stocks, or psychology and stocks, or whatever it is. You can go to the website, have a look at the courses that we do, and put them together in such a way where you get the most out of that deal. The second class you pick has to be the same or lesser value than the first class you pick. So again, just make sure you do that in such a way where you get the most out of that deal, but it is a buy one, get one free situation. Now, for those that might not already be part of the channel, part of the subscription service where you get access to our stocks, options, investing, futures, sharpening sessions, psychology sessions, support, you can join us and join the fun at tradictive.com/you-can-trade. Now, I get there are many places out there that are teaching trading. It'd be hard to figure out which one works for you best or which one suits you best. So you do have a free 14-day access. So you can trial us out for a couple of weeks first, see if it makes sense to you, and then go from there. If it doesn't, you can just cancel the subscription. But if it does, then you've had a good couple of weeks to really know that it's something that suits you. If you have questions on anything, you can email us at support@tradictive.com. Otherwise, guys, I hope you have a great trading day today. If you're part of the Tradictive channel already, we'll see you in the futures and options sessions today. Plus at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, my colleague Boyan will be reflecting on what did happen in the markets, what can we learn from it, what went as expected, what didn't go as expected, and why certain things happened, so that we can get ready for our trading day tomorrow. Again, if you need anything, just email us. Otherwise, have a great day. I will see you in the morning, tomorrow morning for the next overview, and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.